I love movies. From an emotional monologue to an epic battle, to me, they are special. Because of this love, there's a seemingly never-ending backlog of films that I want to see. So I decided I wanted to whittle them down a bit and watch a movie for a week, then talk about my thoughts. So, without further ado, let's get into it. The first film that I saw was...
You think that she cares about your dope money? She doesn't.
Now, I've been wanting to watch this movie for a long time, but I just never got around to watching it. So, when I finally started this, I was just scrolling on Netflix, saw the movie was there, and said, you know what? I'm gonna give it a shot. And I can say that I did enjoy the film. I didn't know much about it going into it, and I think going into most movies completely blind leads to the best experiences. I love the dynamic of the three friends together. Their chemistry was so good, and it genuinely felt like they had a real friendship. I also thought it was so funny the way that Malcolm got so shy whenever he talked to Nakia, because it reminds me of my high school days, especially as a freshman, seeing other people get so nervous talking to other people that they found attractive. It just really brought me back. Without giving a spoilery description of the movie, I guess. This movie is about a group of friends who are self-proclaimed nerds and are obsessed with 90s hip-hop culture, living their lives in high school. One day after going, you know what? I'm just gonna say the synopsis. High school senior Malcolm and his friends Jib and Diggy bond over 90s hip-hop culture, their studies, and playing music in their own punk band. A chance encounter with a drug dealer named Dom lands Malcolm and company at the dealer's nightclub birthday party. When the scene turns violent, they flee with the ecstasy that Dom secretly hid in Malcolm's backpack. A wild adventure ensues as the youths try to evade armed thugs who want the stash. Yes, that is what happens in the movie, but I feel like summaries sometimes oversell a movie in a way, or just the way that it's written feels weird. Anyway, it was a great movie. I recommend it. If this sounds interesting to you and you haven't seen it, I implore you to watch the movie. But I'm just picky about summaries. Whatever. Not a big deal. Moving on to...
This is not you. You're not a murderer.
So I have something dumb that I realized about this movie before getting into it. I've been hearing about this movie a lot lately on places like Twitter, and I kept thinking to myself, why is everyone talking about this movie like it's so good? Because I didn't enjoy it. Upon looking it up, I realized I have been confusing this movie with another one of a similar name, being The Other Guys, which I was not a fan of. So upon finding out these were in fact not the same movie, I said, okay, I gotta give this one a chance then. So I sat back, put it on my TV, and man did I enjoy this movie. I would 100% say it is definitely underrated and more people should watch it. It unfortunately flopped at the box office, and I feel like people are recently starting to realize this is a gem of a movie, me being one of them. I did not expect to laugh as much, and especially as hard as I did while watching this movie. Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe have such amazing chemistry together, and they fit into these roles so well. This movie is about two guys, one being Holland, who's a PI that isn't so good at his job, and crosses paths with Jackson, who's a sort of beat up for hire as they team up to solve a case together. This is such a hidden gem for me, and I 100% want to say if you want to chill out with some friends and watch this movie, or watch it by yourself to have a good time, definitely do it. 100% recommend it. It's such a good time and such a fun movie. Moving on to something completely different.
I don't really want to be like a girl boss type of, that's not my thing.
Now, I had heard about this movie before, but obviously I'd never seen it. This movie is very short. It's 77 minutes long, but oh man, is it a journey. This character goes through so much in such a short time, I could not believe it. I did not expect it to hit as hard as it did. I thought there was going to be time to breathe, but no. It just gets worse as the film goes on. There are definitely some parts I can relate to, especially from hearing my sister describe similar times where things have just gotten progressively worse in her day, and how parents can soft nag at you until it just explodes because everything is bottled up. The acting is superb. It felt as if I was just visiting someone's life for 77 minutes, and it was stressful. It was shot so well, and what's crazy about this is that it was mainly shot in one room. It just goes to show that compelling stories can be told in just one environment, and the director, Emma Seligman, did such a good job. A brief description of the movie is that it's a girl who attends a Shiva after a funeral and deals with her judgmental family, her ex, and her sugar daddy back to back. Probably isn't the best way to sell this movie to someone, but I'm telling you, it is a great film, and I imagine it can be relatable in some aspects for many people. And I do want to say, this movie is funny. There are many comedic moments throughout the entire film, and it's not just intense all 77 minutes. So if it sounds interesting to you, give it a watch. On to...
You stop making movies. Don't break your mother's heart.
Spielberg's passion for filmmaking is extremely visible in this entire film. I saw it in theaters, and it was really sad to see hardly anyone in it. Go see movies in theaters! Anyway, I really enjoyed this movie. It brought me back to my childhood days, gave me a sense of wonder of how I wanted to tell these little stories with my my toys, and my imagination was just able to run wild. And it even made me think if I'm really doing the best that I can to achieve my own dreams today. I admire Spielberg for making a movie so close to him, especially considering this is literally about a time in his life. I also really appreciated that he didn't mythologize any of his past. He just showcased that he wanted to capture the moment to tell a story whenever he could. He loves making films. And as mundane as it may sound, this film is just about the character Sammy Fableman falling in love with movies and making movies throughout most of his life. I would still personally recommend this film, but I would understand if some people didn't enjoy it. But still, I think you should give it a try. Now, on to...
Are you not entertained?
This is a true epic. A story about a soldier who once led the armies of Rome to then becoming a slave and then a gladiator, threatening the current throne. I did not remember much about this movie, so I essentially watched it with fresh eyes, and I do recommend it. Joaquin's performance is so good that you want to punch this guy in the face. Commodus is such an annoying little character, but I don't want to go in too much about the movie because these are just my general thoughts. It's a smaller story than I remember it being, but it was still enjoyable to watch all the way throughout. So, if you want a fun epic and you haven't seen it, what are you doing? Go watch it. It's a classic film. And now, once again, for something completely different.
I won't settle for anything less than the brutal truth. Brutal.
This movie left me speechless when it finished. It is really sad. It demands to be seen more than once. But I imagine it being difficult for a lot of people to get through it even once. I was blown away by everything I had witnessed. I was half lost half of the time, half in some sort of state of understanding. There's just so much you can get from this film that it makes me want to see it again. I don't even know how to describe it to someone because it's strange, but it's kind of funny, and it's also really tragic. It's just a lot. How would I describe what happens in the movie? Let me give a paraphrased version of the synopsis. Basically, this movie is about a depressed playwright that slowly creates a play so real to him that he eventually becomes part of the play, and the line between art and real life is blurred. Those that have seen the film know that is so much more than that. But it's difficult to describe what this film's about on first watch. I would say this film really is about a man going through a never-ending existential crisis for most of his life. There are many deep themes that can be grasped from this movie, but most of it really is just up to interpretation. So, I would recommend this movie. But I would completely understand if this film is not for everyone, as it is strange, much like Kaufman's other work is. But man, is it thought-provoking. And I know many people may see the film as pretentious, but I feel like there is a plethora of personal things many can grasp from watching this film. So, Synecdoche, New York is 100% a film that I would recommend. Moving on to the last film of the video.
If you got it, hold on.
I genuinely really enjoyed this film. From the original music by Kid Cudi to the gorgeous animation, this movie had so much heart in it. I was invested in this little love story of two neighbors. It's a short watch, but a worthwhile one, and I would most definitely recommend it. The voice acting by the cast was much better than I anticipated. I don't know why I expected it to be bad, but for some reason I did. There was a lot of heart in the performances, and it just made me care about these characters. This movie is about an artist, Jabari, who finds unexpected love with his neighbor Meadow, and they go through a journey together. If you like romantic stories, this is an easy one to watch, but I would recommend the film just for the beautiful animation alone. And here we are, 7 films down in this week. So, what did I learn at the end of the week? Well, I learned that I really like all kinds of film genres for one. 2, I think everyone can like a film in a different genre as long as they keep an open mind and really allow themselves to go on a journey. Get entranced in a story, visit another world. Film is a media of art that allows one to go through so many emotions. It allows one to visit a universe they've never seen before, walk into someone's life for a little bit, find something out about the life that they live and about themselves. Everyone has a story to tell. It's just up to those who are willing to tell it and those who are willing to listen. If any of these films that I've talked about are of any interest of you, I implore you to give them a try. More importantly, give a movie you wouldn't think that you normally would like a chance. Even though these were films I already wanted to see, all of them had drastically different tones and subject materials. There is so much one can get out of a good film, so go on and watch something new. And don't discount the medium of animation. Too many people think that it's just a kid's genre of film, but it's not a genre. It's another medium of art, so don't discount it. Now go watch something new. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, give this video a like and subscribe for more videos about movies. We've got a lot cooking that we're excited to share soon. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.